She stood beside her father's coffin, her hands shaking, her eyes full of tears. The room was silent, but her pain was loud. This was the only man who had ever protected her. The only one who never raised his voice at her. And now he was gone. People came to offer condolences, but she barely heard them. Her heart felt empty. Her chest hurt with every breath. She wanted comfort. She wanted one kind word. She turned slowly toward her husband. He was not crying. He was not even sad. Instead, his face looked tense, angry, like this funeral was an inconvenience to him. She whispered softly, "I miss my father." Her husband did not answer. Suddenly, he leaned closer and said in a cold voice, "Stop crying so much. People are watching." Her tears froze. At her own father's funeral, her husband was worried about appearances, not her pain. She looked at him in confusion. Why was he acting like this today of all days? Behind him, his mother watched her closely. Her eyes were sharp, judging, calculating. Other family members whispered to each other. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. She felt like she was standing alone, even though the room was full of people. As prayers continued, her mind drifted back. She remembered her childhood. A small house. Simple food. Her father working long hours but always smiling at her. He never bought expensive things. But he gave her safety, respect, love. When she married, she believed her husband would be like her father. She was wrong. After marriage, her voice became smaller. Her opinions did not matter. She was always told to be patient, to be quiet, to obey. And now, even her tears were being controlled. Her husband's mother leaned toward another woman and whispered, "After today, she has nothing left." The words cut deep. Nothing left? She still had her heart, her memories, her dignity. But she said nothing. Her husband adjusted his suit and looked at his watch. "This is taking too long," he muttered. The threat was clear. After today, her life would change, and not for the better. Then something unexpected happened. The large wooden doors at the back of the hall opened slowly. Everyone turned. A man in a dark suit walked in, holding a leather folder. He looked serious, calm, out of place. He scanned the room and said clearly, "I am looking for her." He called her full name. The room went silent. Her husband turned sharply. "What is this? Who are you?" The man replied, "I am the family lawyer." The lawyer walked closer and spoke gently to her. "Your father asked me to come today." Her heart skipped. Her father? The lawyer lowered his voice. "He wanted you to hear this when you were strong enough." Tears fell again, but this time they were different. They carried memory, love, loss. She remembered her father holding her hand as a child, saying, "No matter what happens, you will be okay." She had never understood why he said that. Until now. The lawyer looked at her husband, then back at her. "There are things you were never told." Her husband laughed nervously. "Is this some kind of joke?" The lawyer did not smile. "Your father was not the man you thought," he said carefully. The room felt colder. Her husband shook his head. "She grew up poor. Everyone knows that." The lawyer replied, "That was not by accident. Something hidden. Something secret. Something not normal." The lawyer opened the leather folder. Her husband stepped forward. "Enough. This is a funeral." The lawyer raised his hand calmly. "This is exactly why your father chose today." He turned to her and said the words that changed everything. "You are the sole heir." The room froze. Her husband stared at her, confused, angry, afraid. But she still did not understand. She had no idea what she had just inherited. She came to say goodbye to her father, but she was about to discover a truth that would change her life forever. Subscribe to Silent Family Tears to see what happens next. The funeral hall stayed silent long after the lawyer spoke. She stood frozen, her hands clenched, her heart beating fast. The sole heir. The words echoed in her mind, but they made no sense. Her husband broke the silence with a forced laugh. "This is ridiculous," he said loudly. She inherited nothing. Her father had nothing. Some people nodded. Others looked unsure. She lowered her eyes. A part of her wanted to disappear. She had lived her whole life believing she was simple, ordinary and powerless. The lawyer did not argue. He only spoke calmly. Your father planned this moment very carefully. He asked her to sit. Her legs felt weak, but she obeyed. Her husband stayed standing, arms crossed, jaw tight. His mother whispered angrily to someone beside her. The lawyer opened the folder slowly. Your father loved you deeply, he began. But he also feared something. She looked up. Feared what? She asked softly. He feared the world would change you, the lawyer replied. He wanted you to grow up safe, not hunted by wealth or greed. Her husband scoffed. So he pretended to be poor? The lawyer met his eyes. He lived modestly by choice. The room shifted. People leaned in. The lawyer continued. For over 30 years, your father built something quietly. He stayed out of the spotlight. He trusted very few people. Her chest tightened. She remembered her father always traveling alone, always refusing help, always saying simple life is peaceful. She never questioned it. Until now. The lawyer placed a document on the table, but did not turn it around. Your father owns several companies under holding names, he said. Hotels, resorts, and land in multiple countries. Her husband's face changed. What kind of resorts? He asked quickly. The lawyer paused. Luxury resorts. A soft gasp filled the room. Her husband stepped closer. How much are we talking about? The lawyer did not answer him. Instead, he turned to her. Your father left everything to you. Every share. Every property. She shook her head slowly. No, there must be a mistake, she whispered. The lawyer spoke gently. There is no mistake. Her hands began to tremble. She remembered nights when her father skipped meals. Times he wore the same old coat for years. Moments when he told her, money changes people. Tears filled her eyes again. Her husband leaned closer now, his voice softer. Why didn't you tell me? He asked her. She looked at him. She realized something painful. He was not asking out of care. He was asking out of fear. The lawyer cleared his throat. Your father also left instructions. The room went quiet again. He requested that you be treated with respect, the lawyer said. He was aware of your marriage. Her husband stiffened. He knew you were often silenced, the lawyer continued. Ignored. Controlled. Her heart dropped. Her father knew. The lawyer read from a letter. If my daughter is still quiet when I am gone, then she has not yet learned how powerful she is. Her lips parted. That was her father's voice. Strong. Calm. Loving. Her husband's mother stood up suddenly. This is all manipulation, she snapped. You are trying to trap us. The lawyer turned to her. Madam, this is not for you. Her husband grabbed her arm gently. Sit down, he whispered. For the first time, fear entered his voice. The lawyer closed the folder. The full inheritance details will be shared privately. Today was only to inform her of the truth. He looked at her again. Your father wanted you to hear this before anyone else could influence you. She swallowed hard. Influence. Control. Her whole life flashed before her eyes. The way she always apologized. The way she stayed quiet to keep peace. The way she was treated like she had no value. Her husband spoke again, this time carefully. We should talk at home, he said. Just us. She looked at him. For years she would have nodded. But today felt different. She stood up slowly. I need time, she said. The words surprised even her. Her husband blinked. What? I need time, she repeated, her voice steadier. Alone. The room fell silent. The lawyer smiled slightly. Her father had been right. Something had changed. And none of them realized yet how big that change would be. She walked into the funeral believing she had lost everything. But she walked out carrying a truth that would soon make everyone regret how they treated her. The ride home was silent. She sat in the back seat, staring out the window, watching buildings pass by. Her husband sat beside her, stiff and quiet. His mother sat in front, whispering angry words to his father. No one asked her how she felt. No one asked if she was okay. Her mind was full. The lawyer's words kept repeating in her head. Luxury resorts. Sole heir. Everything is yours. It did not feel real. When they reached home, her husband spoke for the first time. We need to talk, he said. She nodded and followed him inside. As soon as the door closed, his tone changed. "You embarrassed me today," he said sharply. She looked at him in shock. "Embarrassed you?" "Yes," he replied. "You let that man say nonsense in front of everyone." She felt a familiar tightness in her chest. "I didn't know," she said quietly. "I was confused." Her husband laughed without humor. "Confused or acting?" Before she could answer, his mother walked in. "This changes nothing," she said coldly. "You are still the same woman." The words hurt more than a slap. The father joined them, arms crossed. "Do not let money stories go to your head," he said. "People like us do not need fairy tales." She realized something then. They were afraid. Not of the truth, but of losing control. Her husband stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Listen carefully," he said. "We are family. Whatever happens, it happens together." Together. The word sounded heavy. "I want to understand first," she said. "The lawyer said." Her husband cut her off. "The lawyer wants to confuse you. He wants to separate you from us." His mother nodded. "People will use you. We must protect you." Protect. She had heard that word many times before. It always meant silence. Later that night, she sat alone in the bedroom. Her husband had gone out, saying he needed air. She held the letter the lawyer gave her. Her father's handwriting was calm and steady. "My daughter, if you are reading this, then I am gone. And people around you may try to speak for you. Do not let them." Tears filled her eyes. For the first time, she felt seen. The door opened. Her husband returned, his face softer now. "I am sorry," he said gently. "Today was hard for everyone." She nodded slowly. He sat beside her. "I just want what's best for us," he continued. "There are some papers we should sign soon. Just routine things." Her heart skipped. "What papers?" she asked. He smiled. "Nothing serious. Just to keep things simple." She hesitated. "I want to read them first," she said. His smile faded for a second. "Of course," he replied quickly. "Tomorrow." The next morning, her in-laws returned with folders. They sat around the table like it was a meeting. Her husband placed papers in front of her. "Just sign here," he said. "It's for legal protection." She looked down. The words were long, confusing. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. "Do not let them speak for you." "I want a lawyer," she said. Silence. Her husband's mother slammed her hand on the table. "Do you not trust us?" Her husband looked disappointed. "You are changing," he said. "This is not like you." She felt fear, but also something new. Strength. "I will not sign today," she said calmly. Her husband stood up. "You are making a mistake." That night, she slept poorly. Her thoughts raced. She replayed every moment of her marriage. Every time she was ignored. Every time her voice was dismissed. The next day, something happened that shook her deeply. She went to the bank. The clerk looked at her account and frowned. "Your access is limited," he said. "What do you mean?" she asked. "Your husband made changes yesterday," the clerk replied. "Temporary." Her stomach dropped. Control. That was when she understood. They were not waiting for the truth. They were racing against it. She walked out of the bank with shaking hands. Her phone buzzed. A message from the lawyer. "Do not sign anything. Meet me today." She looked back at the building. For years, she had stayed quiet to keep peace. But peace had cost her everything. And this time, she was not willing to pay that price again. They thought she was still silent, but she was about to make a decision that would change who held the power. She did not go home. After leaving the bank, she walked slowly down the street, her hands cold, her heart racing. The message from the lawyer stayed on her phone screen like a warning. "Do not sign anything. Meet me today." For the first time in her life, she listened without fear. She entered the lawyer's office quietly. The space felt calm, safe, and respectful. The lawyer stood up when he saw her. "I am glad you came," he said. She sat down, her shoulders tense. "They are trying to make me sign papers," she said. "My husband changed my bank access." The lawyer nodded. "I expected this." Her heart sank. "So it's true," she whispered. "They are afraid." "Yes," the lawyer replied. "And fear makes people dangerous." He placed several folders on the table. These documents explain everything your father built, he said. He owned a global resort empire under protected trusts. $15 billion in assets. She closed her eyes. 15 billion. The number felt unreal. Heavy. He hid it well, the lawyer continued. Even from you. Because he knew one thing. She looked up. What? That people would try to control you if they knew. Tears slipped down her face. He never wanted money to decide your worth, the lawyer said gently. But now silence is no longer safe. He slid one document toward her. This paper restores full control of your accounts, he said. Your husband has no legal authority over them. Her hands trembled as she signed. For the first time, something shifted. The lawyer then showed her videos, contracts, and photos. Luxury resorts. Board members. International meetings. Her father had lived simply by choice. He had been powerful all along. That evening, she returned home. The house felt different. Too quiet. Her husband was waiting in the living room. His parents sat beside him. Their faces were tight, forced calm hiding panic. Where were you? Her husband asked. She walked in slowly. I met the lawyer, she said. The room changed instantly. Her husband stood up. You went behind our backs? She looked at him calmly. No, she replied. I went to protect myself. His mother spoke sharply. You are being manipulated. She shook her head. I was controlled. There is a difference. Her husband's voice softened. We are family. Everything you have belongs to us. She took a breath. No, she said quietly. Everything I have belongs to me. Silence fell. Her husband laughed nervously. You think you are powerful now? She looked at him. I always was, she said. I was just silent. His father stood up angrily. You will regret this. She did not argue. She simply turned and walked toward the bedroom. That night, she packed a small bag. Nothing fancy. Just essentials. As she walked out, her husband followed. Where are you going? He demanded. I need space, she said. And safety. He grabbed her arm. Do not do this. She pulled away. For the first time, he saw something in her eyes he had never seen before. Strength. The next morning, news broke quietly. A new board meeting was announced. The sole heir would attend. Her name was listed. Her husband saw it on his phone. His face went pale. At the meeting, she entered the room slowly. Board members stood up. They respected her. Listened to her. For the first time, no one spoke over her. She did not raise her voice. She did not threaten. She simply spoke clearly. I am here to protect my father's legacy, she said. And my own future. Outside, her husband watched from his car. Everything he thought he controlled was slipping away. And he knew it. She had finally taken control, but the people who once silenced her were not done trying to stop her. The news spread faster than anyone expected. Her name was everywhere. The sole heir. The new decision maker. The silent woman people never noticed. Her husband watched the screen in disbelief. The board meeting photo showed her sitting calmly at the head of the table. Confident. Respected. This was not the woman he thought he knew. At home, his mother paced the room. This is bad, she said. Very bad. His father checked his phone again and again. Our connections mean nothing now, he muttered. Fear had replaced pride. That evening, her husband finally called her. She did not answer. He called again. Still nothing. For years, she had waited for him to listen. Now he was the one waiting. The next day, he showed up at the hotel where she was staying. He stood in the lobby, nervous, adjusting his suit. When she walked in, he stood up quickly. Please, he said softly. We need to talk. She stopped a few steps away. You can speak, she replied. His voice trembled. I made mistakes. I was under pressure. She looked at him quietly. Pressure. That word used to silence her. Now it sounded small. You embarrass me, he continued. But I never meant to hurt you. She did not argue. She only asked one question. Did you ever try to protect me? He froze. Silence answered for him. He stepped closer. My family is worried, he said. This situation can be fixed. Fixed. She almost smiled. Fix for who? She asked. For us, he said quickly. She shook her head. There was never an us when I needed it. Later that day his mother arrived. She cried. Real tears. Loud tears. You are destroying this family, she said. Think about your marriage. The words felt heavy, familiar. But they no longer worked. I thought about my marriage every day, she replied calmly. That is why I stayed silent for so long. Her mother-in-law stared at her. You are changing. No, she answered. I am finally speaking. That night, her husband sent messages. Apologies. Promises. Memories. She read them all. She replied to none. The next morning, her lawyer called. They are trying to pressure the board, he said. It won't work, but you should be prepared. Prepared. She took a deep breath. That afternoon, she received a message she did not expect. Her husband had lost his job. The company he worked for was linked to her father's business network. The board decided quietly. No drama. No revenge. Just consequences. When he heard the news, he broke down. He came to her again, this time without pride. I lost everything, he said. Help me. She listened. She truly did. She saw fear, regret, desperation. But she also remembered something important. When she had nothing, no one helped her. I am sorry, she said softly. I cannot fix what I did not break. Her husband dropped his head. You were always quiet, he whispered. I thought you were weak. She met his eyes. I was patient, she said. There is a difference. Days passed. The pressure stopped. The begging slowed. Her life became quieter, stronger. She started attending meetings alone, making decisions carefully, honoring her father's values. She did not seek revenge. She chose dignity. One evening, she visited her father's grave alone. I understand now, she whispered. You wanted me safe, not small. The wind moved gently. For the first time, she felt peace. But the story was not over. Her husband still believed he could return. His family still believed she would forgive. They did not yet understand one thing. She was not becoming powerful. She already was. And soon, she would make the final decision that would end everything they once controlled. They begged for mercy, but she was about to choose something far stronger than revenge. She did not celebrate. There was no party, no loud announcement, no victory speech. Instead, she worked. Every morning, she woke up early and reviewed documents her father once signed. She read slowly, carefully. She asked questions. She listened more than she spoke. People noticed. Board members who once doubted her now waited for her opinion. Executives lowered their voices when she entered the room. Meetings felt different when she sat at the table. Not because she demanded respect. Because she earned it. She chose simple words. Clear decisions. Fair actions. Some expected anger from her. Others expected revenge. They got neither. She honored her father's values. Workers' rights. Fair wages. Long-term growth. One senior manager said quietly, she leads like someone who knows pain. The media began to talk. Not loudly, but steadily. Articles described her as calm, private, different. They called her the quiet force behind a powerful empire. At the same time, her old life was falling apart. Her husband stayed at his parents' house now. The home they once shared felt empty. His phone stayed silent. Friends avoided him. Doors closed. For the first time, he felt invisible. He remembered moments he once ignored. Her quiet dinners. Her lowered eyes. Her silence during arguments. He finally understood. Silence was not weakness. It was endurance. One afternoon, she received a message from someone unexpected. A woman who once worked with her father. She always spoke about you. The message said. She trusted you more than anyone. Her chest tightened. She replied with a short thank you. That evening, she sat alone and reread her father's letter. Power does not need noise, it said. It needs purpose. She smiled softly. Weeks passed. Her name became associated with change. The company funded schools, improved working conditions, supported families. She never stood in front of cameras. She let results speak. Her husband watched from a distance. He saw interviews where people praised her leadership. He saw workers thanking her. And he felt something heavier than regret. He felt small. One night, he sent her a final message. "I see you now," he wrote. "I was blind." She read it slowly. Then she put the phone down. She did not reply. Not because she was angry, because she was done explaining herself. The next morning, she made a decision. A quiet one. She met with her lawyer and signed papers. Not for revenge. Not for punishment. For freedom. The lawyer nodded. "You are sure?" She was. That afternoon, she walked through the city alone. No guards. No cameras. Just her. She passed couples laughing. Families talking. People living. For years, she believed her role was to endure. Now she understood something deeper. Her role was to choose. That night, she slept peacefully for the first time in a long while. But the world around her was about to feel the impact of her choice. Because when a silent person finally decides, the echo is powerful. She did not raise her voice, but the decision she made next would end her marriage and redefine her life forever. She agreed to meet him one last time. Not at home. Not in private. She chose a quiet public cafe near the office district. Neutral. Safe. Open. He arrived early. His posture was different now. His shoulders were low. His confidence was gone. When he saw her walk in, he stood up quickly. "Thank you for coming," he said. She nodded and sat across from him. For a moment, neither spoke. The silence felt heavy, but it was no longer painful for her. She had lived in silence for years. This one did not scare her. "I heard you filed papers," he said carefully. "Yes," she replied. His hands tightened around his cup. "So this is really happening." She looked at him calmly. "It has been happening for a long time," she said. "You just did not notice." He swallowed. "I never thought you would leave," he admitted. "You were always patient." Patient. That word again. "I was quiet," she corrected him. "Because I was taught that peace was my job." He looked down. "I didn't know you felt that way." She let out a slow breath. "That is the problem," she said. "You never asked." The cafe noise faded into the background as she spoke. Her voice was not loud, but it was clear. "I lost myself trying to be easy to live with," she continued. "I stayed quiet so arguments would end faster. I smiled so your family would accept me." His eyes filled with tears. "I didn't protect you," he whispered. "No," she replied gently. "You benefited from my silence." The words hit him harder than anger ever could. He wiped his face. "My parents are angry," he said. "They say you ruined everything." She almost smiled. "I did not ruin anything," she said. "I stopped pretending." He leaned forward. "If I change, if I leave them, can we fix this?" She paused. For the first time, she allowed herself to feel everything. The years of loneliness. The ignored pain. The nights she cried quietly. She shook her head. "You want to change now because you lost power," she said. "Not because you found respect." His shoulders dropped. "I loved you," he said weakly. She looked at him with honesty. "I believe you loved the version of me that stayed silent." The truth settled between them. After a long pause, she stood up. "I forgive you," she said. "But forgiveness does not mean return." He looked up, shocked. "You forgive me?" "Yes," she said. "For myself." She reached into her bag and placed the divorce papers on the table. "They will be finalized soon," she said. "You will be treated fairly." He nodded slowly. Tears fell, but she did not wipe them away for him this time. As she walked out, she felt lighter. Outside, the air felt different. Clearer. Later that day, she visited her lawyer again. Everything was moving forward smoothly. That evening, she went home alone. Not the old house. A new space. Quiet. Simple. She stood by the window and watched the city lights. For years, she thought strength meant staying. Now she knew better. Strength meant choosing herself. Her phone buzzed. A message from her former mother-in-law. Long, emotional. Angry. She did not open it. She turned off the phone. That night, she slept deeply. Not because the pain was gone, but because it was finally hers to release. She had spoken the truth she buried for years, and in the final moment ahead, she would decide how her story would truly end. The morning felt different. Sunlight entered her new apartment slowly, touching the walls like a promise. She stood near the window with a cup of tea in her hands, breathing calmly. For the first time in years, there was no fear waiting for her day to begin. The divorce papers were finalized quietly. No shouting. No drama. No public fight. Just signatures and silence. Her husband did not try to stop it. He finally understood something he learned too late. She was never weak. She was just quiet. She returned to work with a clear mind. Meetings felt lighter. Decisions felt honest. People no longer looked at her with doubt. They looked at her with trust. One board member said softly, "You lead without fear." She replied, "I lead with memory." She remembered her father every day. His patience. His simple life. His hidden strength. In his honor, she made changes. She created support programs for women who felt unheard. She funded legal help for those trapped in silent marriages. She invested in education, not for headlines but for impact. She did not announce these changes. People found out slowly, and when they did, they respected her even more. One evening, she received a letter. It was from her former husband. Not an apology, not a request, just one sentence. "I finally understand what silence can hide." She folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. No anger, no regret, just closure. Days turned into weeks. Her life settled into balance. Work, peace, purpose. She visited her father's grave again. This time she did not cry. She smiled. "You were right," she said quietly. "I did not need noise to survive." The wind moved gently through the trees, like an answer. Later that month, she attended a small event. No cameras. No press. Just people whose lives had changed because of her quiet decisions. A young woman approached her. "I was afraid to speak for years," the woman said. "Your story helped me leave." Her chest tightened. That was when she understood her true legacy. Not money, not power, but courage passed silently from one heart to another. That night, she returned home and turned off the lights. She sat alone, not lonely, but whole. She had learned something important. Not every tear needs an audience. Not every strength needs a voice. Some people survive by shouting. Others survive by enduring. And when those silent people finally choose themselves, the world feels it. She placed her cup down, turned off the lamp, and prepared for sleep. Tomorrow would be busy, but tonight was peaceful. She cried in silence for years, but when she finally chose herself, the silence became her strength. If you believe silent tears can hide the strongest hearts, subscribe to Silent Family Tears for more powerful stories like this.